Hello and welcome to the Stitching Over the Days podcast. This is episode 38 and my name is Constance. I want to thank you for taking a moment out of your day to hear all about my sewing, knitting, and crochet adventures. And I want to thank any new viewers and also any returning viewers. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as cleocmc, that's CLEOCMC. There's also a Ravelry group, Stitching Over the Days, and there's a blog with the show notes, yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com. Okay, so I have a few things to share with you today. I want to first cover the finished objects and then move into the works in progress, and then I want to share with you what I'm wearing, and we'll end with some chatter about the Give Love Christmas knit along. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first up, I did complete my hanker sweater, which I'm super excited about. Let me get the book for you. And this is a design by Kim Hargraves from her Covet collection. And it was truly a relaxing project. I really enjoyed creating it, and it was perfect for just watching television, and yet the cables kept things a bit interesting. It's not a hard cable to do, but it does keep it from being just a completely stockinette garment. And that's the garment there. So I used the Knit Picks City Tweed, which was sent to me by Knit Picks for my the City Tweed DK for my hanker sweater in this cobalt color, which is so beautiful. Okay, that was the back. And this is the front. So I have the net turned down, but the model, as you saw, was wearing it up. But I think that I prefer to wear it turned down because I guess it's just more practical, but it does look really nice when it's up and you're able to snuggle into it. But it truly is like the coziest, most lovely sweater. It hasn't gotten cold enough to wear it yet. Where our temperatures are dropping a tad, and I could wear a cardigan some days, but then I may have to take the cardigan off. Whereas I don't want to pull out the pullovers yet because the pullovers take a bit more time to, pull it over your head and wear. And so when the temperatures drop a bit more, then I'll start wearing my hanker sweater. The City Tweed is 55% merino wool, 25% alpaca, and 20% Donegal tweed. So it gives it a wonderful drape. And as I was stating, the pattern is an easy pattern, and you do have the cable to keep things interesting. And I know that I had to use a cable needle because the cables are so large. Yeah, the cables are so large, and I couldn't cable without a cable needle. Oh, I did make a mistake, which you probably wouldn't be able to notice, but I'll go ahead and show it to you. So I did 2 extra rows of ribbing on the back, and I realized that after completing the entire back, and I just didn't think it was that big of a deal to rip back the entire back or even to try to unravel. It wasn't really just weighing on me at all. So what I did was, when I seamed the garment, because this garment is worked in pieces, and so when I did the seaming, and I did do back stitch throughout with the seaming, then I gently eased those 2 extra rows of ribbing to fit the ribbing on the front, and I did a really good job, I think. And you can't tell, I don't think, the difference in the front and the back, especially when I was wearing it. I couldn't tell that there was 2 extra rows on the back. Yes, as I was stating, this garment is worked in pieces from the bottom up, and then you also do everything separately. And so after I completed all of the pieces, I blocked each of the pieces. It just made for easier seaming when everything is all flat and smooth and neat. And so I used my soak wash, and I let each of the pieces soak for 15 minutes, and then I let it dry on the mat. I did make a slight modification, which isn't a modification. I didn't want the sleeves to be as long as the sample garment. However, I did still want them to be, you know, cozy, and, you know, to put your, you know how the sleeves are big and you can kind of put your arms within the sleeves, and I still wanted that. So after I did the increasing for the sleeves, I stopped. I didn't continue for the like I think it said continue for 45 centimeters. I didn't continue. After I did the increasing, I stopped, and I simply cast off the sleeves, and I think they worked out perfectly, and I really like where the sleeves hit. I think they hit about right here, which is really nice. Well, I think that's it for the what I have to say about the hanker sweater. And overall, I'm super happy with the project. It's a really cozy sweater. It's really beautiful, and I really love that cobalt blue color. I just think it's so vivid and vibrant. And I of course love the flecks of tweed that you get with the City Tweed DK. So yes, really nice pattern, and the instructions were very clear, super easy to follow, and it was a simple knit. I also now want to get into the Florence Shawl, which I shared the previous episode that it was a project that was sponsored by Fancy Tiger Crafts, who I am an ambassador, a brand ambassador for. And so this was my first project with Fancy Tiger Crafts, and I chose to try out their heirloom Romney yarn, and I also went with a pattern that was one of their patterns, which was the Florence Shawl by Emily Platzer. And the heirloom Romney yarn is a 100% wool yarn, and it is worsted weight, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And if I love, as you all know, 100% wool yarn, I find that it holds up truly nicely over the years and the years to come, and it's amazing. And as you can see, it has a beautiful drape to the shawl, which it may be due to me blocking it after blocking it, but it's really nice, and I really like it so much. The pattern was super easy to work up. I will say, well, I'll say it's easy because it's not like a mindless knit. You do need to pay attention to those yarn overs, because I think I mentioned previously that I would find myself missing some yarn overs, and I have to rip back a few rows. And so that happened to me, I think, one more time, and I had to rip back and fix that. So just pay attention to your yarn overs so you don't miss the beautiful eyelet detail of the shawl. It's a really nice shawl, and I was just making sure. Oh yes, I used the same blocking method. I used the soak wash, and I let it soak for 15 minutes. And the colors of my shawl are spruce and agave, and I really like it. I like it worn quite a few ways. Like I like it to wear it like this, but of course I love the classic way to wear a shawl, which is simply draped over the shoulders, which is nice. Okay, I'm doing the knits on knits right now. But yes, it was a really nice project. And let's see if I have the project here. And here's the pattern. Yeah, so that's the Florence Shawl by Emily Platzer. And I then also did another project. I can't believe it's been that long that I was able to do my second project that was sponsored by Fancy Tiger Crafts. After I completed my Florence Shawl, I decided to I wanted to try out the Kelborn Woolens perennial yarn, and I was searching for a good project to match that yarn, because Fancy Tiger Crafts does carry that yarn. And so I found I've done Poison Girls patterns. I've done 2 garments of their patterns previously. I did the first, I tested her first design, which was the Frenchy blouse, and it's this beautiful kind of puff sleeve bobble pullover top. And then I also made the boardwalk blouse, which is one of my favorite garments to wear during the summer, and sometimes I even wear it in the winter with the green cardigan over it. And so the Rizzo blouse, I always really liked it, and I like that yoke of the moss stitch. And I thought that it would be a really project to go try out the Kelborn Woolens perennial yarn. Now the pattern calls for fingering weight yarn, but I will say the Kelborn Woolens is definitely more light fingering. It's a light fingering yarn, weight yarn, but it didn't make a big difference. I got gauge. Surprisingly, I was able to get gauge with the suggested needles. I didn't have to adjust, so that was a perk. And I knew that, like, as you can see, it's really drapey, fluid garment. And I saw that that was the case when I was, let me go get my gauge swatch. Okay, and I saw that that was going to be the case when I did the swatch because it's quite fluid. It has a nice drape to it. And I knew that would be the case with the blouse, and I just thought I'd share my swatch for the hanker sweater here. And both of these swatches, as you can see, are stockinette. And when I do swatches, I treat the swatches just as I'm going to treat the garment when I finish the garment. So I've soaked both of the swatches in the soap wash for 15 minutes, and I just simply put it in a bowl with the cold water and a little amount of the soap wash. Okay, back to the Rizzo blouse. So it was it turned out to be so pretty and so lovely. I didn't really follow the pattern to a T. I kind of just loosely referred to it. And then I just went along with seeing how the placement was for the yoke. I'll say the most time consuming part, of course, is the yoke, the moss stitch yoke, and also the shaping that you'll do, the short row shaping for the cap sleeves. But after you complete that, then you're pretty much just working and stockinette with decreasing to get that shaping. And yes, I think I stated that the yarn was the Kelborn Woolens Perennial, but I really love the color. It is called Vintage Red, and I love the silhouette of the Rizzo blouse. It has a really nice vintage silhouette, and so I thought it was only perfect that I would use the vintage red color to match that silhouette. But the most funnest, that's not a word, the most fun part of the garment was I tried out a new stretchy bind off, because if you look at this neckline, you'll see that it's really close, and you will need to do a stretchy bind off if you want it to get over your head. And so I tried Very Pink Nick's simple stretchy bind off, and oh my goodness, I think it's a new favorite. I think it's going to be my go-to. It was so fun. It was so efficient, and oh my goodness, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I did the stretchy bind off for the neck. I did it for the armhole bands, and then I also did it I first tried it out with the bottom hemming, because I first did a bind off in pattern, and so it's a 2x2 ribbing, but it was too tight and I couldn't get the garment over my head, so I ripped it back, and then I tried out Very Pink Knit's simple stretchy bind off, and it worked out perfectly, and I'm super happy and pleased with the results, because not only was it very efficient and effective, but it's also very neat, and I love that. I love neat bind offs, and so that was really nice. So if you ever want to try that out, then give it a go. And of course, Very Pink Knits tutorials are always super clear and concise, and so it was perfect to follow along with. Okay, we're moving along. I next wanted to share the another knit project. Now, I share in the previous episode that I received a kit from Stitch and Story, and I knitted Pusheen, who is a cat, a comic, and it's a comic and it features a cat. Like, I think that's a good way of describing it. And so Pusheen the cat has a best friend Sloth, and I created the best friend for Pusheen, Sloth, and I always knew that I wanted to create Pusheen to go along with her bestie. and I was able to do that. As you can see, she's quite large, just as Sloth is quite large also. And this is a kit from Stitch and Story. So I ordered the kit once they launched the collection. And with the Stitch and Story kits, you get everything that you need. So I received the needles, the stuffing, the roly-poly plush yarn, and it comes in this really adorable box. And what else do you get? You get your tapestry needle. Oh, and of course you get the instructions. And yeah, so the Pusheen the cat is worked in pieces, but it's still a really super easy. I mean, super easy. I think a beginner could definitely tackle this project. And then it's just a matter of seaming it all together. But the seaming that's suggested for Pusheen is also a very easy seaming technique, which is simply the whip stitch. I'll say the part that requires the most concentration for me was I wanted to get her face perfect. And I think that is really adorable. And I wanted to get her smile just right. And so the embroidery of the face just takes a bit of concentration, but the book, the instructions have really clear directions for the placement and that where you should place it so you could get the really adorable face. So now I finally have my own. Yes, she's so squishy. And so Pusheen to go along with her bestie Sloth, which I created last month. Well, let me get Sloth. Okay, so here they are. So you have the friends, quite a pair. And so I think that is so adorable. They're so squeezable and lovable. And so for now, they've been keeping me company. However, I have been thinking that I may give them to my niece Marie when I go home. And she's a baby, but I still think that she'll come to appreciate it. Okay, so that's it for the knitting. I'm surprised I did finish quite a few projects, and so that's always a good thing. And I forgot to bring my sewing project that I completed over here, but I'm actually wearing one of them, and then I'll go get the pattern. But it is, did I bring it over here? Yes, it is another New Look 6469. I shared with you the fabric and the previous episode, and I had all of the pieces cut out and ready to go. And so one weekend I was able to sew both of the dresses, and I'm super happy with it. This is a favorite dress pattern of mine. It's super easy, and it's also very relaxing knit dress. And I use the Fabric Merchants Ponte, and I'm actually wearing one today. You can see it's quite flowy and fluid. And I made this chocolate color, and I also made a teal color, and I'll get that on back. So this is the teal version of the pattern, and I finally changed out my thread on my serger. So I finished the garments with navy blue. I thought that was a good kind of neutral thread to change it out to, because I didn't want to have that white to stand out so much with the finishing, and I thought the navy blue looked great with the teal. And also I used navy blue thread for the chocolate version also. Now what is so funny is that I've made this pattern so many times, and for some odd reason I attached my invisible zipper on the brown version like reverse, like inside out. I don't even know what I did. It was late at night, and I'm thinking that I wasn't paying attention. It's not a good idea to sew late at night, because I feel like that's the time when I make the most mistakes. And so for some reason that zipper was inserted in a completely crazy way, even though I previously made this dress so many times. And so of course I had to take it out and insert it in the correct way, and it worked out. But the good thing was I didn't make that mistake when I made the second version of the New Look shawl. Okay, so that is it for my finished projects. I'm really happy with all of them, and I'll have the twirl footage so you can see how they move and fit and drape at the end of this video. All right, you guys, I want to share my current work in progress. I don't have many works in progress right now, but I wanted to share with you what I do have. Okay, first of all, my project is in my Molly Ollie caddy, which they sent to me, and I did a post on it on my Instagram if you wanted to check it out. And it had a discount code associated with it, but it was for a limited time. So if you wanted to get a Molly Ollie caddy, I don't know if my discount code is expired, but they typically always have some sort of discount code available. So going to my current project. So this is from Georgia Farrell's new collection. This is the My London collection. And Georgia Farrell, she's a knitwear designer who's inspired by architecture. And so this design was, of course, inspired by London. This collection was inspired by London. And she goes into really interesting details with the concept and the creation of each of these accessories. And so I really am starting to think I have a thing for knit shawls that have stripes and contrast stitch patterns. I don't know, it just calls to me. And so I went for the City Shawl. And the City Shawl comes in two colorways, but I wanted to go with the 2-color version. Let me show it to you here. And the colors I went for was I went for the color Hyacinth and dark burgundy, or is it deep burgundy? It's one of those. And it's the Rowan Alpaca Classic. Is it Classic? Yes, it's the Rowan Alpaca Classic. And I've been making great progress with it. I've mainly been working on it in the evenings after I would complete a day of writing, and I'm still super happy with the progress. So this is what I have so far. I absolutely love this texture, and this is my first time working with the Rowan Alpaca Classic, and it's a very light and airy yarn, and it's really beautiful. And I'm not sure if you can see, but it has a wonderful halo to it. And also look at the texture of this shawl. It's one of my favorites. So you see, so far it's 3 different texture patterns, and then when I move into the next color, into the adding the pink again, the hyacinth color, then I'll have a new stitch pattern to work up. And so I think that this would be the most substantial shawl that I've ever made, because already I think that it's larger than my previous shawls, and I still have to do the pink section. And so that's going to be very exciting. So I think it's going to be super warm and cozy. And I like how in the book she showed, like, of course it's worn in my favorite way to wear a shawl, which is the classic method of just draping it over your shoulders in that traditional way. However, you can wear it, of course, around your neck, and then even ruche it up a bit more to wear it as a scarf. And so I really like that. And so I know that I'll probably be wearing it in all of those methods throughout the fall and winter. And I really chose the colors because I've really been attracted to this kind of deep burgundy color lately. I used the same color, even though it wasn't the same yarn, but it's the color is very close with my Avonum cardigan by Lily Kate Mates, and I used the Pearl Soho tussock and posy yarn in this color, and I just love it so much, that deep plum color. And I just think it's so elegant and beautiful and so rich. And of course I kind of stayed with the same tones of the City Shawl in the book, and you saw that it had that deep blue color with the contrast of the lighter blue, and so that's why I went with the lighter pink, which I think is really beautiful and gorgeous, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. I really just love the different stitch patterns. It keeps things interesting, and it makes you excited to move into the next session to try out a new stitch pattern. And overall, I'm really enjoying the process of knitting this, and so I'm looking forward to making further progress. I'm hoping to finish it by next month because I would like to start wearing it, especially when it gets cooler. But we shall see, because the Give Love Christmas Knit Along is starting on Thursday, and I really need to get started with Christmas knits. And so I'm just going to try to continue to work on it when I have time and squeeze it in. But it's the priority is getting those sweaters done for my nieces for Christmas. So that is the City Shawl by Georgia Farrow, the My London collection. I ordered my book directly from her shop, and I love that, because when you order directly from her shop, then of course I had a nice inscription. It was an autographed copy, and this adorable bookmark came with it. And I also ordered some enamel pins because they were just so cute to go along with it. So that is my current work in progress, and I'm really having fun with it. Today I'm wearing my so let's get into what I'm wearing. I'm so excited about it because as soon as the temperatures dropped just a tad, the first day of fall was really cool, and I was super excited about that. And so I pulled out my honeysuckle cardigan, which I completed this summer, and I'm wearing it again today with my new look 6469. It's definitely one of my favorite makes for the year. I'm super happy with it. And this is a design by Marie Wallen from her Meadow collection, if I'm not mistaken. And of course I have all of the details on my Instagram and Ravelry if you wanted to look at those posts. And yeah, I just think I really like this Farrow garment because it has so many colors in it that I feel like it matches and looks great with everything. So far I've worn it with a green dress, brown, which is a neutral, so I guess it doesn't really count. But I think it'll look great with my new teal dress also. Maybe. Yeah, I think that'll look good because you kind of have that lighter blue there. And I've even just worn it with a black dress, which was still really nice. And so, because I feel like it made the cardigan pop even more. So yes, I'm super happy with this cardigan. I'm so happy that I'm finally getting a chance to wear it. And now I wanted to get into a bit of chatter about the Give Love Christmas Knit Along. But first I wanted to get the yarn and share with you the yarn for the projects that I have and my plans. And so I already have them in the project bags, and I'm going to go get them, and I'll be right back. So the Give Love Christmas Knit Along is a knit along that I am hosting, which starts on Thursday, October 1st, which is in 2 days. And it's pretty much about sharing and giving out as much love either towards yourself, because we need to have love for ourselves, in addition to our friends and family. And so I have a video with all of the details, and it is an international give along, I'll quickly say. But if you look at the previous video on my channel, then you'll see all of the details about the knit along. And it's also, I decided to do a knit along so I can motivate myself, and we can motivate each other to get these projects done before December 25th. So my plans are quite mammoth, like, oh my goodness. I'm wondering if I'm trying to do too much, but I'm going to try. And I was just like, doesn't hurt to try. So I'm going to attempt to complete 3 sweaters by December 25th for my nieces. And the sweaters, they aren't like super quick knits because they're full-size sweaters and they're roomy. They have a lot of positive ease because, you know, that's the style that the young people really love now, the huge sweaters that they snuggle into. And I quite like it also. And so that's the fashion now. And so my niece really loved the blank sweater. There we go. By Kim Hargraves. And I feel like the silhouette is very similar to the hanker sweater, however it's longer and there's no cable. It's all stockinette. And so what I'm going to try to do is complete a blank sweater each month. So in October I want to complete the charcoal melange. Is that, I don't know if that's the pronunciation for that, but I'll say the charcoal color sweater. And all of these, this pattern is worked with the Rowan Alpaca Classic, that same yarn that I using for my city shawl. And so it was really nice to work up the city shawl to get a feel for the yarn, to see how I like the yarn and to see how it felt. And I really like how light it is. But I think that it's going to be still super snuggly. And it's also nice that it's really light yarn, I'm thinking, because that sweater is, as you saw, is full length, and you have the full sleeves, so it won't be too heavy, but it'll still be quite practical to keep them warm. So my niece requested that charcoal color, and my other niece requested the, I forgot what it's called, but it's a lighter gray color. Oh, I could just read it here because that's what the sample was made in. Let me see what it's called. So she requested the gray color, and then my youngest niece, she really wants to be like her big sisters. She saw the sweaters that they were getting, and she was like, oh, I would prefer to have one of those sweaters instead. Maybe make me a blank sweater, because I was just going to create her any day sweater to replace the one that she washed last year. And so now I'm making a third blank sweater. So the goal is to create the charcoal sweater in October, November create the gray sweater, and finally in December to complete the my youngest niece chose the soft satin color. So I wanted to share the colors with you. I already put them in my bags, and I put it in this Knit Picks bag for 2 sweaters worth fit into this bag. And I also had another Knit Picks bag that I used, which is a tote, and 2 sweaters fit into that also. So, and this project requires 14 skeins of the Alpaca Classic. So this is that gray color, and that's what the sample is worked up in. I think it's so beautiful, and so soft. I'm looking forward to working that up. And then the charcoal color was so difficult to find. Oh my goodness. But I finally found it through Church Mouse Yarns, and I'm so happy that they had it. And here's that. Oh, that's gorgeous. So that's the charcoal. So those will be the first 2 that I work up. Also, my niece who's getting this version, she doesn't want the high neck, so I'm just going to go for a crew neck for her version. And the final color is the soft satin color here. So beautiful. It's really soft, kind of pink color, getting into the neutral territory. So as you can see, they are really big into the neutrals. I'm more so really big into the colors. I like to wear neutrals sometimes, but not like all the time. But it will definitely be versatile with those colors that they chose, because it'll go with pretty much anything. And then I'm going to try to do a bonus project, but this project is not a priority because it is for me, and I want to make it for myself, but I'm not sure if I'll have time to squeeze it in. But I still ordered the yarn to make myself a blank sweater, and I chose, I don't even know what the name of this color was. I think it was Foliage Green. Oh, that's so pretty. And of course, I was like purchasing the yarn for their sweaters, and then I know that when I was FaceTiming with my niece and we were talking about the sweaters, and I was talking about the colors, and then she asked if I was going to make myself a version, because, you know, last year I had an any day sweater to go along with theirs, and we were able to take pictures on Christmas Day. And so it would be nice if we could take pictures again together on Christmas Day, and if I could squeeze in another blank sweater for myself, and I would consider this to be my Christmas sweater. And I mean, green is my favorite color anyway, but green during the holidays, it would be just perfect. So, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to my version, but even if I don't get to it by Christmas time, then I'll still have it created, I'm sure, sometime this winter, and then we could get those pictures whenever. So those are my plans for the Give Love Christmas Knit Along. Oh, I have another plan also, which I don't think it'll take a lot of time, but I also want to make a little sweater for my baby niece and she's 6 months, and so I'm sure that that shouldn't take too long because it won't be that much yardage, and so I'll probably try to whip that up in a few days. So yeah, those are my goals for the Give Love Christmas Knit Along. And Leah, my fellow knitter friend, she's already opened the chatter thread on Ravelry, which I'll soon start joining. I haven't had time. It's been super busy on my end with work and school, but I'm going to start joining the chatter and sharing with you. I'm going to get some images of my yarn to put on my social media, and also to put in, maybe I'll start creating Ravelry pages for the projects also. And so I'm super excited about it. And the good thing is that yes, these projects are stuck in that. Hopefully I won't get too bored by them, but I'm thinking that it'll be great for pretty much winding down and working on them in the evening, and I don't think it's going to take that much concentration. I mean, Kim Hargraves even levels this pattern as an easy, and I don't even think it has shaping, so pretty much the concentration will be in just making sure that I don't make that mistake I made with my other hanker sweater and doing like too much ribbing or too little ribbing, and making sure that everything matches so that it could be all seamed together neatly and properly. Yes, the blank sweater is a level easy. Let's see something. Okay, it has a bit shaping for kind of like the hanker sweater, just slight increasing for the arms, but that's it. Okay, so that is it for the Give Love Christmas Knit Along with my plans. I'm looking forward to seeing what you all create for yourselves and for your loved ones. And make sure to share either on Ravelry or on Instagram. Either is fine. And the hashtag is Give Love Christmas KAL. And I'll just continue to follow that hashtag along. All right, you guys, I think that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you for sticking with me, and I'll see you all next month. Bye. I know I said bye and that I was going to end the podcast, but I wanted to share with you. Pearl Soho recently sent me some new yarn, and it is their linen quill fingering yarn, and oh my goodness. This yarn is 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, with 15% linen. Very interesting content, and that linen content gives it a really nice tweedy look. And this color is called rhubarb pink. It's so beautiful. And so they had a sample accessory on their Instagram page with the yarn, and it was this beautiful cable wrap, and so I knew I wanted to do something with cables with the yarn. And so I chose the tri-cable stitch jumper, which is from Susan Crawford's A Stitch in Time. And let me share. And so, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. My only dilemma is I'm not sure if I have enough yarn. I have 3 skeins of this, and so I'm short some yards. So what I did was I actually went ahead and placed an order for an extra skein of the rhubarb pink color, because oh my goodness, this yarn has such a wonderful color range. They're so vivid, so vibrant, with some amazing neutrals also and softer tones. And when I was trying to choose a color, a lot of the initial colors that I were flocking to, they were like sold out. They were out of stock. Of course, I'm sure they're going to get them back in stock, but I was super happy with this color, which was still in stock. So when I saw that I may be short a few yards, I decided to go ahead and place an order for an extra skein before it ran out, because they've been going pretty quickly. So yes, I'm super excited about this. I think that this alpaca content is going to give it a really nice drape, but I still think that this wool, and I could already just see from how the yarn is looking, that it's going to be a beautiful definition to those cables. So I'll be working on this project also in the coming months. I'm hoping to I think it'll be a good break, because those blank sweaters, they're going to be a lot of stockinette, and so when I kind of get bored or tired with the stockinette, then I'll want to reach for something a bit more detailed. And so I think that the tri-cable stitch jumper is perfect for that. And I also really love that pussy bow on the cardigan. I've never done that detail, and I've been knitting for a while, and so I think that's going to be so perfect, and I'm really excited about that. And in the first volume of A Stitch in Time, she has a pullover with that pussy bow detail that I've been thinking I want to create one day also. But yeah, I would love to have this completed before the year is out. And so yes, I'm looking forward to sharing it with you all. And I just think this yarn, I just cannot wait to get my hands into this yarn. And so I will get started on that after I finish some obligations that I have with work and school, and I think that that'll be a treat to myself. Maybe I'll cast it on this weekend, and I'll share that with you all. Okay, you guys, I just had to check in and share that, but that will be it for today's podcast, and I'll see you next time. Bye.